I'm curious. In 21, 22, you said you lost like almost $4 billion. But you said this time around you were more prepared. What did you do that you're not hurting the way that all of us here are hurting stock market wise?
No, I'm still hurting. Like, I think my companies some of them are in real trouble, and, there's going to be pain. But this time around, I was able to take my ego out of it, not try to be the smartest guy in the room. And I was able to understand how to just basically protect myself a little bit.
How?
Did you buy short positions?
No, but you can have protection. You can, like that spread trade that I talked about, the Mag 7 to the S&P, you could take risk off by just selling stuff. It's not perfect by any means, but the level of confusion and pain that I went through in 2022. Now, look, everything could change. I don't know. It could change tomorrow. I could just get run over tomorrow. But I tried to basically take the long view so that because what happened in 2022 was I had a year and a half where I was constantly being forced to sell stuff at prices that I hated for things that I really cared about to fund other things that I really cared about. It is fucking devastating. Just so you know, I'm not running around with fucking 19 houses and all this other stuff. Jokes aside about the sweaters and stuff, I live in one house. I have one car. You know what I mean? I own one home. That's it. Everything that I have, I direct to my businesses because I feel that these businesses can do good, useful things. And I just like the adventure of it. So this time around, I wanted to not be crippled if this stuff was going to happen. And my point is that people knew these scenarios. They just refused to act on them. And I was just risk off. I'm in this group chat with a bunch of my friends, bunch of hoity-toity folks, super brilliant guys. Man, it was just risk on, go. And I just kind of stayed quiet and in the cut. Every time I had the chance to kind of even take the other side of it, I wouldn't. I just kept my head down and just kind of tried to not get run over this time.
So you just sold a lot? I want to know exactly what you did.
The capital that I had, I did not put into the market.
Got it.
So you stayed liquid.
Yeah.
So you and Warren Buffett are sitting on collectively $300+ billion. Waiting for a nice old market collapse.
Let's be honest. He's sitting on 325.
I said 300 plus. You're the plus.
Yeah. I'm the plus.
So what do you guys do with your $300+ billion once, or even now? The market's in disarray. Do you start edging in? How do you deploy that capital?
I don't. Warren and I are at complete opposite ends of the spectrum, although we're theoretically doing the same thing, although he does it much better than me. But we both own businesses, and we're both trying to own things that we understand. The difference is that he acts in the public markets at mega scale. I act in private markets at, what starts off at very minor scale. They can grow to be crazy big, but they start off small. So what I'm doing is trying to make sure. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm trying to build a national champion in the United States for batteries. I'm trying to build a national champion for rare earths amongst the United States and its allies. I'm trying to finish this thing on breast cancer. I started an AI business that helps companies kind of just run their businesses more efficiently. I am the largest investor in the largest distributed solar company in the United States, residential solar. So I'm trying to be there for my businesses. When I can feed them a little bit of capital, I try to do the best that I can. Keep these companies going, introduce them to other folks, even if they're scared, try to help convince them why they should be supporting these private companies. So my game is very different than his. Time will tell. And then there are other businesses that will just, we'll see. Like in 2020, the craziest deal I did, or 2021, I had this kid. He was a kid at the time. He's still young, but DM me again. Another example of X. And I didn't know who he was. And I looked at it and his name was Mr. Beast. And I was like, who is this guy? So I was like, he was like, hey, you want to talk? And I was like, sure. So I did a Zoom with him. And I just remember still to this day, like my kids walking by the Zoom screen because we were sheltering in place during COVID. And they saw Jimmy on the screen and they just like, oh my God, they ran into my little cabana that I use for meetings during COVID. And they were like, oh my God, do you know that's Mr. Beast? And I was like, yeah. So I ended up working with Jimmy and I basically helped him create this business called Beast Industries, which is like the kind of the organizing principle of all things Beast, everything that he does. But there are parts of Jimmy's business now that, we're going to have to be very judicious about. We have to make sure we can support like the stuff that he does in the food side. That food stuff could get more expensive. Sometimes, a lot of the way that we make money and pay for stuff is through advertising, right? Advertising could slow down a little bit if there's like a bit of a recession or like negative growth. I want to be in a position to support Jimmy if he needs some extra money. So that's the game that I play. Like it's very tactical and in the weeds.
What about stocks?
I mean, if you're asking me honestly, I'll give you the honest answer. I do not own a single public stock and have not since the end of 2023.
Since the end of 2023.
Will you buy in? Do you see this as an opportune time?
No.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
So now we're getting somewhere good. So
Does that include like ETFs, funds, like things?
I don't own a single. I have zero exposure to the
are you not bullish on
equity markets.
Are you not bullish on the equity market?
I am very bullish private equity business, meaning like, private companies. I have enormous exposure. But my point is the stock market for me is not where I quote unquote make money or create value.
Is that a function of a lack of confidence in it, or just you want to put your time and energy towards the private
Loving
sector?
adventure.
It's 80% the latter, 90% the latter, and the 10% of it where I probably should have some exposure, I've just chosen not to.
Got it. Okay.
You mentioned recession. Do you think we're headed towards one?
I thought that we were sneakily in one for a while. So this is the other thing that is important. We have a very brittle way of reporting data. Our perception of where we are is constantly changing. So every Friday, the first Friday of every month, the financial markets get this thing called non-farm payrolls, which means tell me all the jobs that were created in America everywhere except on a farm. And they use it to judge how healthy the economy is. That number has been basically unreliable for years. It'll come out with a number, then it gets revised the next month, then it gets revised. It's the same with GDP. So what is GDP? It's just economic activity, the total sum of economic activity in America. What is that number? That's constantly being revised. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is like really weird. Why are these numbers so fragile? And it turns out the way that we measure this stuff is very bad. Now, one consequence is that there is an emerging realization that a bunch of GDP was just the government spending a ton of cash in the economy, hiring people, contracts, this and that. And it's not that those things are bad, but they could be, a lot of waste there, right? Like what, you and I do for $1, sometimes you've seen these funny articles like the $700 waste paper bin and like the $900 umbrellas. How does the government end up buying these things? I don't know exactly, but all of that artificially props up the economy. If you take that out and reset it to a more normal level, there is a belief that we were actually sneakily in a low-key recession like a year ago or, 2 quarters ago. I think that there's a reasonable chance that those people could be right.